Does that fix it? It does. Beautiful. Hello. Hello. I was, having great fun over here and then talking about ads that I couldn't identify on my own stream, for God's sakes. And yeah, having a grand old time, but noticed that the microphone was not correctly set. So that was beautiful. Hi. It's actually Bunny. I appreciate that verification very much. Hope you're having a good, not sure where you are, day, evening, night, morning? Helltide? I don't know what you're doing. Been a minute since you've been in a stream. Heck, been a minute since I've been in a stream. We did a thing last week where we looked into a couple of like European / open source variants of various things, and Linux is one of those things that keeps coming up when that happens. So we're gonna be doing the Linux question today. Oh, you're in California. I was there like a month ago. I was in San Francisco for a few days for the RSA conference. And very cool, very cool. So yeah, so this is the Linux question. Like, can I switch to Linux? Should I switch to Linux? Is switching to Linux a good idea? Or what I should say, what does he have in his nasty little Linuxies today? We have a couple on the docket. We have Ubuntu, we have Debian, we have Fedora, we have Elementary, and we have the Elementary person. It's actually Bunny. Are you the lead developer? What exactly is your role? I forget, but you are definitely heavily involved with that project. So I'm very curious to see like how that's been going. We have a couple of other like more sort of off the cuff, like when you look for Linux, like what should I switch to? Generally, you get either Ubuntu, Debian, or Fedora, sometimes SUSE if you're really hardcore, and even Arch Linux if you're really, really hardcore. We'll not be touching Arch today. That's a little bit above my pay grade, honestly. I'm not a huge Linux user myself. Oh, the one thing I think I forgot to grab is Kali Linux. I should probably fix that. I'm also being told that my camera is not currently functioning. That should probably be fixed. Let's see why that's happening. Oh, balls. I think I know what's going on. Gotcha, gotcha. All right, so it looks like my camera is worked. Let's see if we can really quickly fix that. We do want the ugly mug in view if possible. I know why. I was playing with NVIDIA broadcast the other time, and I'm guessing that's what may have made it very angry. And it's just a question that always needs a bit of explanation, because within Linux as a whole, like Linux isn't its own thing. Linux is a group of operating systems. There's like a huge number of them. Yeah, I definitely see the issue. Okay, that should be fixable. Basically, there is like different distributions of Linux. So you got Ubuntu, you got Debian, you got Fedora, you got SUSE, so many other different ones, Red Hat, Enterprise Linux, all these things. And then there is also the fact that within those distributions, there is a lot of what they call window managers and desktop environments. And the tricky bit there becomes that all of those influence accessibility. All of them do. It's a whole entire mess. And that is something basically that I'm doing that because the users, the switchers who are just going to switch, have no idea what's going on, will not know that all this matters, and that's kind of what I want to go for today. Let's have a look. Did we fix it? Yeah. Yeah, I was switching between scenes there for a little bit, so it'll do that while I'm. Yeah. We'll have to see if we can sort it out. If not, well, that's unfortunate, but can't really be helped. Okay, I have an idea. If OBS doesn't have it, then maybe NVIDIA does, and if it does, then we can possibly trick it into working. Camera's gonna go. Audio's gonna go away again for a second. Just bear with me here. Okay, yeah, it's not having it. I guess we're doing this without face today. Unfortunate, but can't be helped. Let's at least put VMware on the screen, because we do need that. We do need that visible for everything to work. I honestly don't know why it's being so mean. It does not need to be, but it is for some reason. Let's switch it to... Oh, let's see. No, discard. Where is VMware? Here we are, and here we go. Okay, beautiful. That is at least working now. That's nice. Question. Actually, no question. Question to me. What do we start with? Like, does the Bunny? Do you have like an end time? Do we need to do elementary first, or do we not? Because it doesn't really matter for me either way. But yeah, it's pretty important to make sure that you at least see the elementary part. Like, you can of course watch it back again after, but that's not really what we're here for. So let's see if you're actually here. Let's just see if we can actually make it so you can see what we're doing here. Well, given we have it open, actually, let's just start with this one. I think that would be the easiest. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. We already have it set for elementary anyway, and elementary I think is secretly going to do the best out of the few that we have access to anyway. So we might as well just start with that one. Yeah, let's just start it. Let's just start it. So we did this back in, I think, May last year. It's a while ago, and what we noticed is that there were some things, like we had some issues with the VM, but that was my fault, honestly. It's now a lot better. Like, it should start way sooner than it did. We had like a 10-minute, 20-minute thing before it booted, and that has to do with the way VMware and WSL work together. It's honestly a big mess. But the tricky bit there is that because we had so little time, we didn't really have that much time to actually test. This time that should have been fixed, so I should be able to get a lot more done and to get into it a lot faster, which is good. I am just making it so the audio will go to stream so we can hear eSpeak, which is what Orca uses to talk, and then we should be able to go right on through. This is a already created VM. For subsequent VMs, we're going to have to do the recreation part again and again. Shouldn't take super long, though. I could make a snapshot, but honestly, I don't really want to. Where's the VM? Where does it make sound? It does. Okay. Might have to get creative with this, actually. What is it? Control... Yup. Yeah, a lot faster. What is it? Windows Alt S? Yeah, I was afraid of this. VMware is not letting me send it to the thing. I can hear the speech just fine. I'm going to really quickly reroute it so you guys can too. And then we can start. There. Now we should be able to hear it. Uh-oh. It did announce it.
Chinese. English.
Yeah, no, I could hear it, just you guys couldn't. And I was setting it up. Now it should be audible for everyone.
Chinese. English.
So the first thing that I want to say about the elementary is that announcement that Bunny just mentioned. Basically, that is huge. No other thing that I know of does that, and it's a huge thing because if you're new to Linux, no, the announcement works just fine, and it's one of those things that sets elementary apart. Really, what it does, indicating that you can press this and this to get the thing to work. That is actually surprisingly rare in a lot of OSs. Windows, I think, does this now too, or at least it used to in the Cortana days. When you set it up, I don't know if it still does. Now Cortana has gone the way of the dodo, but it wasn't there for Windows for a very long time. Mac did it for a while with VoiceOver, like it would announce. I believe it would announce what language you were on, but I don't think it outright told you how to turn on VoiceOver. It's been a while since I set up a Mac, though. Linux practically never does it. Then again, a lot of phone OSs don't either. If you have an iPhone or an Android, you need to know the secret handshake to get it to start talking. And a lot of people, particularly in stores, don't know that handshake. The fun little extra for that is that you can turn on narrator or voiceover or what have you on a computer in, say, a store somewhere, like in the Netherlands we have MediaMarkt, you have like Coolblue, you have the Apple Store. You can go to the Apple Store, just turn voiceover on all devices. Watching the chaos when all the devices start talking and the employees have no idea how to turn it off is some comedy gold. I did it once when I was with... I'm pretty sure at least one viewer here has seen me do this at least once. But yeah, telling the user what to do is really important. Like a lot of the time this is missed by even accessibility professionals because users are expected to know their screen reader or their tech. They often don't. That's just not how it works a lot of the time. They will try to learn. Like, of course, if there is like good resources out there, they will absolutely try to learn. But a lot of people like say they want to try this Linux thing. They've never looked into it. They don't know how it works. Okay, Mac still does it. Very cool. Oh, that's what I remember now you mentioned it, Peter Mach. Yeah, like it'll say English, and if you then just press enter on it, it'll eventually tell you, hey, if you're stuck, you can press this button. Windows, like I said, did it in the Cortana days, but then Windows always talked during the Cortana days. It would do this whole thing, but hey, welcome to Windows. We are amazing. You are amazing. Did you know how amazing we were? Like, oh, by the way, there's a screen reader. You can press this and this to make it go talk. And yeah, a lot of Linux distributions we'll find when we do Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora, they don't really do this. They all do their own cool things, though. For example, Debian does this thing where if you, let's see if we can show that off later. If your main sound card, for whatever reason, isn't making sound, it'll it'll start cycling through all the audio devices that are on your system, and it'll send a little sound through it, like say, hey, if you can hear this, press enter or something like that. I forget exactly what it does, but in fully blind computer land, this is actually a relatively common thing to happen. You will be in your computer, and if you have more than one audio output, some of which may not have anything connected to it, what will happen is your screen reader will go to that audio output as nothing connected. Sometimes it's a virtual cable that goes to another thing. You use that to send audio from one place to another. Sometimes it's like your HDMI out, or it's your SPDIF connector, or a couple of other things. And if that's where your audio is going, you're not going to hear anything, and you can't figure it out because you can't hear anything. So that's a very clever thing Debian does, to just pull every sound device and be like, hey, can you hear this? Press enter if you do. That way we'll just keep talking through this, so we'll at least know you have audio somewhere. The way people have traditionally gone around this is to plug in a USB class compliant audio device after boot, which in a lot of times, at least on Windows, like forces that to become the new audio device that's default. And on Windows, that generally fixes this, but there is absolutely a lot of OSs where this becomes an issue and you can't see what you're doing anymore. So that might be a cool thing for Elementary to do as well, provided you wanna put all the things essentially in the place where everything is, if that makes sense. Let's see. Let's just go through this installer.
English.
The stutter we're hearing, I don't think that's an Elementary problem. I'm pretty sure that's a VMware issue. I've found that a lot of VMware for related stuff, particularly in relationship to Pipewire, will do that sometimes, and sometimes it becomes unusable. If that does happen this time, it's absolutely a VMware incompatibility issue. We need to figure out a way to sort of nip that in the bud. Kali Linux has the exact same issue. From at least 2024-2 onwards that I have found. I haven't honestly tried the latest version. I've been meaning to, but I haven't really gotten the chance to do it yet. Hey, maybe we'll get to do it today. We'll have to see. But let's do this installer first. I'm saying way too many words. Let's go.
English.
English.
With English. List with 4 items. United States.
Okay, one thing I just noticed is that I'm not sure if it told us what we're actually doing. Like oh yeah, no, I think it did. It said like we're installing Elementary, and I think it did tell us to choose a language, but I was waffling over that, so I may have missed that. Let's stick with US English.
English. Select push button. English. Panel. English. List with 4 items. United States.
Yeah, let's just go with American English for now. Can we just press enter on this? Will that work?
Return. Select keyboard layout panel. Okay. Input language panel. List with 99 items. English, US.
Yeah, that sounds good for a default. So it tells you how many items are in the list. It tells you what sub-panel you're in. That's actually pretty good. I like nothing but good things so far. Nice.
List with 29 items. Default.
So yeah, we missed what it said there because of the stutter.
Cherokee. Let default.
I don't honestly know a lot of the Orca hotkeys. There is certainly a way to get that information again. We're just going to go with the default for now.
Try demo mode changes will not be saved, and data from your previous OS will be unchanged. Performance and features may not reflect the installed experience. Checkbox not checked.
So this is an interesting question. We could go through the installer and check that out, or we could do the perform live demo here and look at the actual OS. For the interest of time, maybe doing the live demo might be better, unless there's like serious reasons not to do that. Bunny, are there any like significant differences between live and installed system currently? Okay. Right. So yeah, let's install it then. Let us install the thing. Let's see.
Demo mode changes will not be saved.
So one
and
thing
data from your
that
previous
is
OS will
difficult
be
for me to
unchanged.
test
Performance
in
and
this
features
particular
may not
setup, and it
reflect
has
the
everything
installed
again to do
experience
with
checkbox
VMware,
not checked.
is BRLTTY. So I'm not sure if BRLTTY comes up with Orca these days, or if Orca's own Braille support works well these days. I'm sure it has it, and I think it's disabled by default, which is a stupid default, but I think if they leave it enabled, it floods. I don't think it's BMESC, but it might be. Yeah, it has to do with audio devices waking up and going back to sleep. There's some things I think you can tweak in the VMX file to fix that, but again, this is one of those things where you need to know a lot more than a lot of people do in order to get a good experience, and has nothing to do with elementary. It's purely like well, it might have something to do with Pipewire and the way that's configured, so that might be something to look into. I'm assuming this is using Pipewire. And maybe you can do things to make that work better, but I've seen so many complaints, not even from screen reader users, that this happens in VMware or in VMs in general. So I'm not sure how much you can do this. Gnome boxes, I'm guessing that's a Linux VM hypervisor. Yeah. I should try this in
and try
virtual
demo
box
mode
at some
changes
point.
with erase disk and install erase everything and install a fresh copy of elementary OS 8 checkbox not checked.
Yeah, let's do that.
Space.
Let's just check
Checked.
that. I think
Back push
the
button.
thing is, if I keep it
Erase disk
awake
and
and just
install
keep
push button.
continuously making it make
Space
noise,
for
it doesn't
installing
happen
panel.
as much.
Some parts of elementary OS 8 may run slowly, freeze, or not function properly. Cancel installation push button. Install anyway
fine.
push button. Cancel install anyway push button.
I think we missed some text
Left
there.
alt.
Can I see that with OCR? Virtual machine. Okay, so some parts of is that saying that I should not be doing this on a virtual machine? That text seems to be missing the first line where it says like, because you are on a virtual machine, you might get some issues. Right now, I'm just saying virtual machine and then the fact that it may not work as well. But yeah.
Cancel install anyway push button.
That's actually a good idea. It's pretty much just what I said. Like VMware is going to introduce a lot of weird noise into the signal, as it were. That is not really a problem for this particular demo because we are looking at very much sort of the setup experience, the first time use. If I were to want to do this like an actual like workhorse demo where we, I don't know, go hack the Pentagon or something, that would be a different story. But in this case,
Control
left
install
really
anyway
the big
push
thing
button.
I need to do is not let it go to sleep.
Select a drive
which
panel.
is hard because I need to also talk to you guys.
Scroller cancel installation push scroll pane. Cancel installation
okay,
scroll
so we have
pane.
a scroll pane.
Cancel scroll pane. Cancel installation scroll pane.
Interesting. So when you tap
cancel
through
installation
this,
scroll pane.
It doesn't appear to tell you what is in that scrollable region. What it's actually showing is... Wait, what is it doing? Select a drive. It doesn't look like you can. That's interesting. Let's try that again.
Installation push scroll pane. Cancel installation push button.
Possibly. Let me take a look. This shouldn't be a huge problem to fix given we are still not in an installed version. Let me suspend the VM. Can we suspend? I think you can suspend and enlarge. Let's try that. Yeah, that is honestly the reason. The reason for that is I was literally just making that particular VM we're currently using for doing a speed test. That's why it's called elementary speed test as well. In order to see if that issue we were running into was still happening, and it wasn't. And then I forgot to enlarge the disk, so that's on me. Hard disk SCSI. Can we make that bigger? I think we can. Oh no, can we not? I thought you could. Uh-oh. Oh, I have to turn it off entirely. Okay, that sucks. Yeah, that's on me. That's my bad. Can you shut down from suspended? No, you can't. Of course not. Okay, so we resume, then we shut down. Excellent. Yeah. I have no idea how many people we're gonna get into this. Basically, actually, while I do this whole thing where I enlarge this, I can talk a little bit about what's been happening with the streams and things. They've been a little bit less common and less regular as I'd like. Basically, that is because I've had a lot of other things to do and a lot of things to wrap up. One of my contracts actually went down, way down, like 25% of what it used to be. And that took a bit of extra doing to get to essentially get into a place where I don't need to look at it as much anymore, which is actually very nice because it gives me a lot more time to do stuff like this. And one thing I want to do with that time is actually do more streams, actually do more scripted content as well. So shorts, scripted videos on YouTube about various things. I think there's a lot of things that I have in my head that I could put on the internet for people to use. That will probably also mean that the YouTube channel is going to be getting a different name. Right now it's called Blindly Coding. And it's called Blindly Coding because that is what I was using it for back in 2015 when I made that channel. I made like one video in a hotel in Redmond when I was when I was an intern for Microsoft. And it's not really that anymore. Like that channel has a number of things on it. It has gaming extremes. It has a number of different things. It has hacking reviews. It has the advent of cyber stuff on it. And it started from like, oh, cute, it's not just coding anymore. But now that channel has just widened its scope so much that Blindly Coding isn't really cutting it anymore. And I have been brainstorming on a number of different names for this particular channel. And I think I have landed on one that I like. It's called Viewpoint Unseen. And there is a story behind that name. I'm calling it that because what I am doing essentially is sharing the viewpoint of, for one, the blind in general. At least I try to be as inclusive with that community as I can be. Unseen is a bit of an inside joke because a lot of accessibility for the screen reader using population on the world is unseen. You can't see those accessible names. You can't see the tags that make everything work. And it's also a little bit of a joke because VU is also like the view meter. It's like an audio thing. Whereas I have done audio reviews and music stuff in the past on this channel as well. So there's a lot of little gotchas for people in the know, but it's also just really easy to just tell you. Like right now, Blindly Coding, the one thing I like about Blindly Coding is that I can just tell people that that's my YouTube account. I don't have to spell it out. I don't have to tell them what it means. It's Blindly Coding, and Viewpoint Unseen does that same thing. I don't need to make it with underscores or with numbers or lead speak. I just want people to find me easily, and I think 2 words that are not weird and like oddly spelled 1990s style will do that. And I think this covers what we're doing a lot better than what Blindly Coding currently does. So in the meantime, I've gotten that disk larger. Let's try this again. What do people think of my multitasking skills? But yeah, it was an interesting thing that we just saw. Like, it didn't work, but it didn't really. Yeah, no, it's a skill. Like streaming regularly certainly teaches you that skill. One other thing, for example, I want to go do with that channel is review tech. I went down a senpai gaming rabbit hole today, and there's a lot of like toys and tech and other things that people use for streaming. Think light strips, think cameras, think mixers, all sorts of fancy video switching equipment. That's no idea if that's accessible, and I think a lot of people with me have no idea if all that stuff works. So, in that sense, I think there's a lot of tech, both for streamers and for all sorts of other things,
install elementary OS 8 frame, left control.
Blind reviews. And I've also done a reaction to a gaming stream the other time, so more reaction
Chinese,
content
English,
terrible either. So
written English.
yeah, this
list
channel
with 4
could
items.
just
United
be
States.
for a
Return.
lot of
Select
different
keyboard
things.
layout panel. English, US. List with 29 items. Default.
Okay, so we're back, almost back where we were. I can't help but notice just now that we got a list of 29 items. You are not entirely wrong. Actually, I was watching another person, I forget who it was now, looking at another thing, and then in the comments I saw people refer to Senpai Gaming, and then also I saw your post in the thread that you're referring to, and I decided, let's just check this guy out, because apparently there's like two people that have very different viewpoints on certain things, and yeah, it just gave me like a really interesting look into what people are actually reviewing and looking at these days. What I notice in this particular list we're looking at right now is that we don't really get a title for this. This is, I think, the keyboard layouts to do with the US language in general. Like, there is several US. Ones you can pick here. Yeah, it just says English US. You might need a little bit more descriptive titling there, where it says, I don't know, keyboards for English US or so, because like the first time I saw this, I had no idea what I was picking. So that might be something to potentially look into real quick. Let me do this thing again.
Try or install panel.
I was going to say about the thing we just saw before I broke it off, is that when you tab onto that scroll pane, and we had the problem where no entries were actually selectable, we didn't really get any feedback about that. Basically, it just sort of told us there was a scroll pane and there was a cancel button, but nothing that indicated, hey, what you're trying to do isn't working because, you know, that disk is grayed out or anything. And it's an interesting thing on the web as well. When a button is disabled and cannot be pressed, should be still route tab focused to it. And the consensus on that is yes, generally you should, with some kind of metadata that indicates why it can currently not be pressed. On the web, that will be an ARIA labeled by, usually with the contents of some kind of tooltip that the user would get on hover if you were to try that anyway. I'm not sure how that would work in the ATSPI architecture. That's something for the UX and UI folks to figure out.
Erase disk and install the left space. Back push button. Erase disk and install push button. Return before installing panel. Some parts of elementary OS 8 may run slowly, freeze, or not function properly. Cancel installation push button.
Here another one. A very interesting little super tiny niggle. So it says before installing pane, and then it says some parts may not work properly. But it never really indicates that that's because of the VMware. Interesting. Yeah, right, like I said, it feels a little disjointed the way I'm currently seeing it. There's no real indicator that because the fact that we are in a VM, that's why it might crash. So that might be an interesting thing to perhaps make a little bit more explicit. I think it's visually there, but it's not being read out currently.
Return select a drive panel. This will erase all data on the selected drive. If you have not backed your data up, you can cancel the installation and use demo mode. Getting the current configuration. Cancel installation push button.
Okay.
VMware virtual SDA 42.9 GB checkbox not checked.
I don't think there is a title for this grouping either, but you can tell from context that you're picking a drive. A checkbox is an interesting choice here. Generally, it's either a radio button or a drop-down. A checkbox generally indicates multiple selection is possible, which I'm assuming is not the case in this case. So Again, that may be an
Checked.
ATSPI oddity. I don't know why it's referred to as a checkbox here, but
Cancel
I just
installation
noticed
push
it. I see
button.
him as like I could call him as I see him basically, or
Next
rather
push
don't
button.
see him. All right. Yeah, like again with these streams, I am not pointing literally any fingers at anyone. Like I'm aware that particularly on Wayland, accessibility is weird right now, and it could be Orca, it could be Wayland, it could be the UI toolkit, it could be eSpeak having a bad day. There's so many factors that go into this that I honestly don't have the internal architectural knowledge to really point out where things are going wrong. I'm just seeing that they are. Okay, let's go.
Look and next push button.
Again, none of these so far have been outright blockers. I don't think. Oh, this is still X11. Okay.
Return enable drive encryption panel. Data will only be protected from others with physical access to this device when it is shut down. The encryption password will be required each time this device is turned on.
Okay.
If you forget it, B, you will not be able to recover data. /B, a built-in or USB keyboard will be required to type the encryption password each time this device is turned on. A unique password for this device, not the password for your user account. Text. Opens pop-up.
Okay, so we saw a unsanitized bold tag in that piece of text. Not entirely sure how that got there, but yeah, that's not been escaped. Were this an input panel, I would like flag that as a potential cross-site scripting execution pivot, but this is output, so it should be fine.
Installation push button. Don't encrypt push button.
I don't think we want to encrypt. This is just a VM, so let's not.
Return additional drivers panel. Broadcom registered Wi-Fi adapters, NVIDIA registered graphics, and some virtual machines may not function properly without additional drivers.
Okay.
Most devices do not require additional drivers. Proprietary drivers contain private code that can't be reviewed. Security and other updates are dependent on the driver vendor. An internet connection is required to install NVIDIA registered graphics drivers.
Okay.
Proprietary drivers can be installed later through system settings right arrow system, but an internet connection will be required for all drivers.
Okay.
Include third-party proprietary drivers when installing. I agree to their respective licenses and terms of use checkbox not checked.
This is one of those interesting things that when you come from Windows and you come from Mac, this is gonna baffle some people because it's like, who cares? It's drivers. Obviously, for open source enthusiasts, this might be something that's a deal breaker. For let's say the occasional, like for the average Joe who has never heard of Linux before, doesn't know what open source is apart from like a ketchup jar being open for too long, and just wants to use a computer, they're gonna understand what this means nor care what it does. So it's one of those things that I know to a lot of people is really important, and some people they just like whatever, just let me do my thing. I do appreciate that it's in here. Yeah, you do. It makes perfect sense that it's here.
Button. Erase and delete back push button.
All right.
Erase and
We are
install
now going
push
to
button.
actually erase and install our drive, which has nothing on it, so that is fine. Let's
Return.
go.
Install elementary OS 8. Installing panel. Span font features equals tnum. Partitioning drive 0%/span. Show log toggle button not pressed.
Okay, we
not
found
pressed.
another
5%.
we
42%.
found another HTML tag there, span with a thing. Normally I see these more in Qt-based UIs. It's kind of interesting that I'm seeing them here.
50%.
Okay, the progress bar is being read out loud. That's good. That is good.
56%.
My computer is also spinning up the fans. Very good. Recently got my CPU replaced, so this is a good heat test to make sure it doesn't spontaneously combust.
75%. Left alt. Continue setting up panel. Elementary OS 8 has been installed. Span font features equals tnum. Your device will automatically restart in 30 seconds. After restarting, you can set up a new user, or you can shut down now and set up a new user later. /span. Shutdown push button.
Okay, so the installation is done. And we're being told to shut down the machine. So I guess we'll do that and then we'll boot into the live system. But I never gave it a username and password. Let's see. Please remove the installation medium, then press enter. Okay. Yep. Use ISO file. Can I just... Can I remove it for now? No. Okay. Well, I can't do what you're asking me, computer, but we'll just see how it does. Okay. Would be perhaps interesting to at least give some kind of indication that something happened after that did that. I can see that it's rebooting, but that's not everyone. Like, it just looks like it just didn't do anything.
Screen reader can be turned on with the keyboard shortcut Super plus Alt plus
Why
S.
is it in Spanish all of a sudden?
Screen reader on.
Screen reader is
Frame.
back on. I'm immediately seeing that one, the American English voice is now being used, and it's also a lot snappier.
Tab.
Uh-oh.
Tab. Let create a user. ZGGNJEGU panel. ZGGNJEGU. List with 197
What?
items. English.
What was that label? Interesting there.
Chinese. English.
Okay, so we're creating a user, picking a language again. That is interesting.
Chinese.
Let us
English.
go with English.
Less B grader English. Less/B grader. List with 4 items. United States.
Yeah, that's fine.
Return select keyboard layout panel. Less/B grader English left paren. US right paren. Less/B grader. List with 29 items. Default. Return create an account panel.
Okay.
Choose a password visible to other devices when sharing. E.G with Bluetooth or over the network. Full name text. Opens pop-up.
It is interesting that it's having you pick your language again. I'm not sure what I think of that. Generally, when you pick a language during install, it just uses that for the majority. But before we got to pick a user, we have to pick the language and the keyboard layout again, which seems like coming from like a user, that seems double, but that might be on purpose.
Back push
Oh, I thought maybe the installed version didn't do the stutter thing.
Full name text.
Full name.
Opens pop-up.
My name is IC.
ISEEUL.
Okay, it looks like that. Yeah, echo characters is on. That is it's the same default for Orca.
Username text.
Username.
Is select I selection backspace ISEUL.
There.
Choose a password text.
Password.
Backspace.
Oh, I appreciate the
Backspace.
little sound when you backspace to a non-existent thing. Beep, beep, beep,
Backspace.
beep. What's the password? Let's just
Left
do
backspace. User choose a password text. Confirm password text. 1.
Okay, it's a little
Left
problematic
control.
that it doesn't say asterisk asterisk
Circle.
when typing. That's an Orca bug. You should probably not be hearing the characters that you're entering when you're entering a password. Wonder if that's, again, this is one of those things where I'm like, is that an Orca bug? Does that have to do with this particular login manager? Is that just the way Orca's character echo feature works? But yeah, that's one of those things that might give people some interesting things going on. Hello. I don't think I've seen you before. Where's Firebot? I want to see if I say your name right. Comrade Delte. Comrade Delte, welcome. First time viewer? I think so. First time chatter. I'm a blind person. I don't have a screen connected to this computer. We're looking into accessibility of Linux and other things of that nature. Have any questions? I don't shy away from them. Please ask if you do. Let's see. So we entered our details
Name
here.
text. Confirm password device name text.
Device name.
Virtual dash
What shall we do?
backspace.
TARDIS.
TARDIS.
No.
Back.
Screw it. Mordor.
Backspace LRDOR. Back push button. Finish setup push button.
We're taking the hobbits to Isengard. Let's go.
Return. Password text. Password.
What?
Menu toggle button not pressed. Tab.
Okay.
Tab. Password text. Pass. Menu toggle button not password text. Password.
Okay, so yeah, we're clearly looking at an actual login prompt at this point. Oh, that's great. Honestly, I've been trying to get this channel under the attention of more people. Commenting, subscribing, and like sharing this with other people is super helpful for the algorithm. So, if you haven't already done that, that would be super fantastically helpful. Not because I want to make money, I don't, not from these streams, but just because that feeds the algorithm and it means that my shit comes up with people more often, which means I can help more people. That's really what I'm doing this for. So yeah, everything that we can do to appease the digital gods of YouTube algorithm diving, much appreciated from anyone that actually comes into the stream. I should make a banner of that. Anyway, what I'm noticing here is we do have a menu button and a password prompt, but nothing really tells us what we're supposed to do here. If I look at this with OCR, what I see is a clock, and the word null, which I'm guessing is my last name in this case, and then I have to fill in a password. But yeah, this is clearly a lock screen for something, but it doesn't really tell us that. It's an interesting thing that I just noticed. Also, sometimes tab focus seems to get stuck.
The password text. Password.
Guessing I type my password. In that time, it did say circle, password. So it's purely the account creation
menu
that apparently has a problem. I also apparently don't know how to type my own password.
Left shift REDM tab. Left alt.
What is happening? Okay, it's the same thing, right? So my caps lock is on. It actually tells you that as well. Potentially regression, yeah. I'm seeing that it's also warning us that the caps lock key is currently depressed. That is something NVDA does as well. I don't believe everything does it. VoiceOver will start making a clicking sound when you type doing that, and NVDA will bleep at you. I don't think Orca cares. Let's try.
Back, F. Back, caps lock on. Caps lock off. F. Backspace.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what went wrong there, but...
Tab.
Actually, now it's doing it again.
Circle.
Sometimes it'll happily like tell you that you're typing a circle, and sometimes it will just literally let you do whatever, and it'll just tell everyone what your password is. No need to shoulder surf, just listen well. You're fine. Okay. Are we going to run into the first thing I find very annoying about Linux? I wonder. Yes, I think we are. So right now, visually, right now what we're seeing visually is the welcome screen. There's a welcome screen. There's a wizard that shows us. It says, continue to set up useful features. Visit the links below for more help with getting started. But if we start tabbing around at this point, you'll notice nothing's happening. And this is one of the main issues that I think people who are not used to Linux are going to run into. The fact that sessions are generally very much separate from one another. Screen reader isn't on when it's on the login screen. It's only on when you turn it on the session as well. And sometimes it doesn't retain that or persist that either after a reboot. So sometimes in some distributions you have to turn it on every single time you turn your computer on. If you don't know that and you're just going to go into your thing at this point and it doesn't talk, you're basically cooked because it doesn't tell you that you're supposed to do that. If we take this further and go, say, drop into a TTY, like an actual terminal, not a GNOME terminal, but an actual like bare bones text command line, you're going to run into the issue that because whatever audio thing you're using, Pulse Audio, Pipewire, take your pick, is already holding on to the audio device from a certain user, you're not going to have audio from the TTY. There is all sorts of interesting scripts and patches you can run to fix that. Fireborn is a person who wrote a whole bunch of blog articles about this, and he touches onto this as well. All of them come with pretty bad security or usability concerns. You can, for example, run Pulse Audio system-wide to fix this. No average user is, one, going to know how to do that, two, is going to do that because they have no idea what it does, and three, shouldn't be doing that because it's a security problem. So over here, we're pointing the finger at essentially an architectural limitation of the entire stack. This is not really easily fixable in any particular distribution. This is going to require like the underlying stack to improve, and I believe there's issues dating back at least a decade where people have been trying that and it hasn't gotten anywhere. So that is on the one hand really frustrating for people who depend on these things. Like if you need this to work and it doesn't work, that's of course very frustrating. And then if people lash out to developers who are trying to do the best thing and they can't really fix it either. So interesting. Yeah, so if Wayland does this better, then we might have like a better solution. And Wayland has its own interesting accessibility history where I believe it wasn't really a thing until, 6 or 7 years after the first release. And I'm not telling people this to hate on Linux. I use it all the time for certain things. Like it's a good OS for certain things, and I quite hope for it to get better because it is a really good solution. For example, for the e-waste problem we're seeing with Windows 10 devices now, where because of the arbitrary lacking of a certain chip on your motherboard, Microsoft has decided you don't get to have Windows 11, and Windows 10 is end of life in a few months. So you could very well just put a modern version of Linux on that and use that computer for another decade if you wanted to. But then for some people, there will be too much friction to make that be a possibility. And we're in elementary right now. We're in a OS where the developers actually care to fix it. That is not always the case. Even in mainstream, I believe the Ubuntu installer, which we'll be visiting after this, does work. But then apparently, the second you try to actually change something or modify some of the options, you get in trouble. So I'd be very curious to see if that's true. And Ubuntu is essentially the de facto start here for a lot of people. That's what they here to use. Ubuntu, Mint, Debian, Fedora. So if it's not going well there, then you're going to lose users just because of the experience that these people are going to have. And this is one of those niggles where the screen reader isn't coming on after login by itself. Which is kind of unfair because it isn't on other OSs either. VoiceOver, I'm pretty sure you need to initially turn on the first time you log in as well, and then it remembers for future sessions, but it won't just do it on its own. NVDA, you need to set a checkbox that says, come on when Windows starts, or even come on when the login screen starts. But those are those are not mutually exclusive settings, but they are two different settings. So if you forget one of them, you're not going to have a screen reader. And for some reason on Windows, that causes less friction because people can just figure it out. And you do have a narrator just fall back on. But on Linux, because it is in such a precarious situation already with people essentially waiting for it to blow up, it somehow has a lot more weight to it. It's a little small thing that's really probably, if you know what you're doing, it's a 5-second fix. But it's an interesting situation where the level of done is high. Yeah, it'd be good to have that be a thing. It's just a small thing, but it might help a lot of people.
Screen reader on. Set up elementary OS frame. Welcome. Panel.
Hello.
Continue to set up some useful features. Visit the links below for more help with getting started. Get involved or sponsor us. List. Basics guide link.
This is good. This is very good. What I'm seeing is a neatly titled dialogue. I'm seeing the dialogue description being read out. That is honestly something even Windows programs get wrong a lot of the time. So this is a really good start. I can see people have tried here. This is always nice to see.
Help link. Basics guide link.
Can we arrow through
Get
them?
help link. Basics guide
so
link.
both of that works. coming from a Windows perspective, I would say that lists generally are horizontal, vertical lists. That generally, this is where we get into really interesting territory because on the web, what we're seeing a leaning towards is a lot of desktop patterns are becoming things on the web as well, toolbars, drop downs with multi-select, things of that nature. And what we're finding on the web is that a lot of the people that are on the web and expect a web page don't really understand how these patterns work outside of a desktop context. So I've seen, for example, where someone's tabbing around a web page and they're landing on a toolbar, say like reactions for a chat message or so. And the way a toolbar works generally is you have your controls from left to right and you use the arrow keys left and right to go between them. But then people try to tab, and the reason the toolbar works like that is so you can reduce tab stops, but then they find that they don't know that you can use the arrow keys there. And they miss a whole bunch of functionality because they just tap past it. So I was about to suggest you don't probably need to be able to tab through these. You can probably have this be an up and down list and just tap straight onto the next button if you wanted to do that. But I don't actually know if that's necessarily a good thing to do. And there's only a few links here, so I'd say leave it alone. It's fine. It's fine as is.
Titling.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
basics.
You're
Get
a big
basic
bad
left. Get
computer and you're having
basics
a...
left. Next
Okay,
list. Get help. Our
we
website
got
link.
help, we got a website,
Get
we
involved
got
or stop skip all
involved.
push button. Next push button. List. Basics guide link.
So what
Get
I find
help link. Our web
interesting
get in skip all push button.
here is that it says that we get to set up features.
Next push button.
And then we get a bunch of links for
control.
documentation, but we don't really see any features here quite yet.
Next
Then there's
push
a
button.
skip all and there's a next button. I'm assuming skip all goes to the end of whatever next will page us through. But I'm making a lot of assumptions there. I'm wondering if we could make that clearer somehow.
Get in skip all
Maybe
push button.
indicating
Next push
that
button.
next might take us to step X out of Y, or just next step might be clearer. Let's see what does next actually do. Let's press it.
Return. Choose your look panel.
Right,
Make
okay,
it your own
so
by choosing a visual style and accent left
I
control.
think what I'm not immediately seeing here is that the because I'm tabbing through all this other stuff first, I think I'm being a little bit sidelined by the fact that we have a bunch of links, more than one, as it were, that seem to suggest this is just, this is a number of places you could go to. And then there's a skip all, and then there is a next. So skip all seems to suggest, like, at that point, I'm wondering, is skip all going to skip the links I just went through? Or is it going to skip something that I'm still in, like, a part of, and that next would take me to the next step of? I'm not really sure if I'm making sense, but I had a little bit of weird sort of incongruity with that, where I was just like, huh, what am I skipping? Why is this here? I figured it out once I pressed the next button, but I just had a moment there, and I figured I would mention it.
Next push button.
First thing we do is pick our look.
Choose your look. Style. Selected radio button.
Let's see,
Default.
what is my style? Am I a default boy? I think I'm not a default boy.
Choose your look. Accent color.
I'm an
Selected
accent
radio
color
button.
boy.
Blueberry back push button. Choose your look. Choose your look. Style. Choose your look. Style. Selected radio button. Dark.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing something interesting here. So, radio buttons generally go from up and down. If you go up and down here, you actually switch between two different settings. See that?
Accent color. Selected radio button. Blueberry.
So what the screen reader is not picking up on is that these are actually radio buttons that go sideways. You have to use the left and right arrow keys to make a choice
Choose your
here.
look. Accent color. Selected radio button.
Let's
Mint.
pick mint for the accent color.
Choose
and
your
have
look.
the theme
Choose your look.
be
Style. Selected radio button. Sunset to sunrise.
Sunset to sunrise. That sounds potentially poetic. Let's do that.
Choose your look. Accent color. Selected radio button. Mint.
Right, so tabbing takes us to the second set of radio buttons. Arrowing down does as well. It should probably not be doing that. You should probably try to confine the keyboard cursor within the radios if you're just using an arrow key, because that's going to get confusing for people. I thought I was picking the second option in a list, but what I was actually doing is I was going to a different list. if you do want to make it so you can move between lists, use the arrow keys, maybe doing this inversely might be better. So up and down, move between options, left and right, switch between lists. Because right now this is very much against like established patterns, as it were. It's not bad, but it's going to trip people up over a few seconds here.
Next push button, next push return night light panel. Make the colors of your display warmer at night to help prevent eye strain and sleeplessness. Next push button.
That's
night light adjust schedule and template night light colon. Checkbox not checked.
Let's turn that on just for giggles.
Space. Checked.
There we go.
What
else we got?
Next push button.
We shall continue onwards.
Return housekeeping panel. Old files can be automatically deleted after 30 days to save space and help protect your privacy. Old temporary files. Next push button. Automatically delete checkbox not checked. Downloaded files.
Okay, so assuming this is a list of checkboxes.
Automatically delete checkbox not checked. Old temporary files.
Yeah, let's turn that on.
Space. Automatically delete checkbox not checked. Screenshot files. Space. Checked. Automatically delete checkbox not checked. Trashed files. Space. Checked.
This is an interesting way of announcing it. I would expect the automatically delete here to be some kind of grouping, whereas if you don't change the grouping, you only hear the new item within the group rather than the group name again. That's just an efficiency thing. I again don't know if that's even a thing you can do in AT-SPI or GTK, but that is generally what you would expect. A list could work, yes. Like what you want to do is some kind of composite pattern where, like it says, automatically delete colon, and then you can have a say list of checkboxes that say old files checkbox not checked, screensaver checkbox not checked, and that way if you go up and down, you don't have to listen to things to delete over and over again. You can be a lot faster in having that not be preceding the actual thing you just landed on. It just goes a little faster that way. This isn't bad. This is still clearly understandable, but it could be a good improvement to maybe make that a little bit less verbose.
Back push button, next push button, return online accounts panel. Use mail, calendar, and tasks with an existing online account to sync emails, events, and tasks with this device. Next push button.
Now, I'm not going to be doing that today, but I do know that the GNOME calendar, which I'm not sure if this is using, but if it is, that'd be cool. Received quite a few accessibility updates courtesy of, I believe his name, they go by Evil Skeleton, at least on social media. They have been working tirelessly with a couple of other people for, I think, over a year now to at least get some accessibility in the GNOME calendar. That's good. I'm glad that they got to it. I'm glad that they finally were able to get some blockers moved there. And I think, frustrating as it is, okay, well, might find out. Like what I find, there's two ways to respond to this. You can be cynical, you can be happy. So in my internal monologue is going to be cynical. Like, okay, it took you 10 years to get a calendar app to work, great. But that is not constructive. Like I can put that on Twitter. Heck, I might put that on Twitter or like another social media app because I get frustrated. I deal with this every single day, multiple times an hour sometimes. So when I see that people were able to code a calendar app into a corner so badly that it took other people a year or longer to figure out how they were going to un it, basically, that is really impressive from a Schadenfreude kind of way, and also really depressing because we've had accessibility guidelines for decades now. So in that sense, yes, that annoys me. It does. I can't not be human about that. When I see a game come out that I can't play because people didn't think I was, important enough to include into the accessibility negotiations considerations, yes, that's going to annoy me because I would like to play that game and I will be annoyed. But I think there is a time and a place for these things. Like yelling at people who are trying to make it better is really unproductive. You're biting the hand that feeds you. You quite honestly cannot be choosers and are beggars a lot of the time. That's not a fun thing to hear, but it is unfortunately very true. So on the one hand, yes, frustration is very understandable and even self-righteous and very much has its place, because if it keeps going wrong consistently, sometimes having a good yelling match can be really helpful for that, so people can see importance is being missed here. But aim it where it needs to go. Like, if you want to be mad at the people who screwed it up, not at the people who are trying to fix it. That's the important bit. And yeah, people can clip that if you want. Like, I will absolutely yell at a company that does consistently do it wrong and clearly doesn't care. They will get my ire. I will grumble at them. I will send them annoyed emails. I will show them on stream as being people who do not care about accessibility. But I'm not gonna, like, if someone then sends me an email and says, hey, we want to fix it, thanks for the feedback, there is going to be people who will, at that point, lash out and say, where were you 10 years ago? Like, why didn't you help me before? It isn't going to be helpful to just like yell and then go on like an epic rant about the fact that you haven't been able to like use this thing for 10 years. I think they know that already. They're trying to fix it, and then you just getting mad at them is going to deter them from doing that. They're going to not want to fix it at that point, because that stuff's soul destroying. You're trying to help a group of people that are yelling at you. Like, that is not fun. You don't want to be the person to make someone essentially have a terrible night's sleep because they are trying to get something in the best shape they can, and the people that are essentially doing it for are essentially giving them lip. That's just not the person you want to be. That's important to not do that. Please don't do that. Okay, I'm done ranting now. Let's continue.
Connect online accounts. Link.
I don't really have anything handy right now to do that with, so let's see if it works offline. Let's just skip this for now.
Next push return get some apps panel. Get the apps you need on App Center or sideload Flatpak apps from alternative stores.
Okay, so
get apps made for Elementary OS and reviewed by Elementary on App Center. Sideload apps from alternative app stores like FlatHub. Next push button.
FlatHub. GitHub has the same problem. GitHub.
Get apps made for Elementary OS and reviewed by Elementary on App Center. Push button.
Let's look at that. Let's like finish the Elementary section by looking at their app store. People who made the app store, if you did it wrong, I'll point it out. Sideload
apps from alt. Get apps made for Elementary OS and reviewed by Elementary on App Center. Push button.
I pushed the button.
Apps return. Reminder panel. Reminder selected label. Opens pop-up. Escape home panel. Reminder remember your stuff in an adorably annoying way. A simple reminder app made to be quick and easy. Reminder focuses on simple or recurrent reminders with set time and date and nothing else. Push button.
Hey, Molidvan, we're doing Elementary right now. I'm going to be covering a couple of other distros while we're at it. Remind Duck, actually I've been saying this, I need a reminder app that doesn't let me get away with just dismissing it. I need a thing that says, did you do the thing? And I say yes, and then 10 minutes later, it'll come back up and say, did you actually do the thing, or did you just tell me because I would go away? Because I will happily set myself reminders and make myself to-do list items, and I'll just not get to them because I'm doing other things. Or I'll start them, and I'll look like, oh yeah, let me just open this website that I need to do the thing. And then as I'm doing that, I think of something else to go do, so it's hanging out in my tabs for weeks and I don't get to it. So this just remind Duck kind of reminds me of that. But okay, so we got the first thing that we see in this store is this first app.
Hash it the most reminder remember hash it the most intuitive and simple hash checker tool hash it is left
okay,
control.
So it looks like when you tapped, where did you get the name of the app, then the description.
Remind push button. Drill push button.
Oh, I found an unlabeled button. I'm not sure what this one does.
The search push button. Push button.
Let's see. So the button next to search doesn't have a label. That's an accessibility bug right there.
The search writing and language. Video. Universal access system. Privacy and office.
Okay, so I'm
media
shift tabbing through these. I think I'm in
escape.
Some kind of drop down.
Office. Privacy and security. Media in accessories. Free. Minder create. Left control. Free push button. Minder create. Div tab. Free push button. Accessories.
No. So this list, you do have tab stops for all the categories, but I'm seeing a lot less metadata here. Like we don't see what kind of list we're in right now. I sort of have to go through a couple of these to figure out, oh, these are categories. So that might be good to sort of make that the categories list or something. Yes, Dev is in chat. Very helpful for them to be here. I'm also...
free push button. Let Whaler Docker container management free.
Okay, very cool. That was short.
Free push button. Let icon browser browse and find system icons free. Let free push button.
Okay, so free, it follows the style of app stores everywhere, where instead of buy now, you have a button with the price on it, and you tap that to make it buy it. I personally, in a get off my lawn kind of situation, I don't love seeing buttons with the current value rather than an actual actionable name. But I'm also aware that this is very common now in almost every app store ever. So I'd say leave this be. This is fine. This is what people expect from the iPhone, from the Windows Store, from Android, from everything. So I find this particularly annoying when a button opens like a list and you pick something from the list and then it becomes that the list item text becomes the label of the button.
Free push button.
A lot of websites do this now and it annoys the heck out of me, but yeah.
Tab Wiki manage your Hamachi networks free.
Okay, I don't have any Hamachi networks.
Free tomato keep
Looper
left free push button. Looper magnify the selected text free.
That would be helpful if I could actually see
left
something.
Larawan slideshow widget free. Free Atlas view where to go free. Left Condu case convert case in your text free.
Right?
Free push but Condu case convert case in your text free.
Okay, let's do this one. It's a case conversion app. So we just press
free push button. Return cancel push button. Installing.
Okay, I appreciate the feedback there. Also, I appreciate that I don't have to have an account to get stuff from here. It just goes.
Tap left cancel push button. Installing.
This button is now a cancel button.
Condu case convert case in your text.
The free button is now a
Condu case convert case Atlas view where to go free. Condu case convert left control return Condu case panel. Condu case selected label. Opens pop-up. Convert case in your text selected label. Opens pop-up. Tap center combo box. Opens pop-up. Tab. Concert open push button.
Ah, there's an open button. Let's try it.
Return Condu case. Text. Opens pop-up.
We're opening this new app. Let's see how it does. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of hope for this actually working, but we'll see. We'll see how we do. And after that, we will, I think, look at Ubuntu next.
Select Condu case.
You'll be okay.
Condu case. Text. Opens pop-up. Tab.
Ooh.
Left alt.
File menu? No.
Tab.
Okay, we are in a... yeah, I think so too. You're right, Peter.
Backspace.
Yeah, I think we've lost that battle, Maidvan. I agree with you. Okay, let's type something. This has no case. I know. I'm fully expecting Ubuntu to fall on its face the first second we touch it, but I do need to show it off because it is a very popular distro.
It has no case.
Okay, so we can see the text is being read out loud. Can I see this in OCR so I can see how you're meant to actually do anything with the case? Let's see. Convert from, okay, space separated. Yeah, so can we get to that drop down? I wonder. There's a convert to and a convert from things. Can we get to them? Let's see. No. Can we control tab?
Let's convert to colon.
Oh, okay.
Combo
yeah,
box.
you can.
Opens pop-up.
So control tab gets you out of the edit field, Java style. They did, now you mention it. Yeah, you're right. I think they do call it get now. Yeah, Fedora, Debian, and Ubuntu are in the list of things I want to look at. I hope I get to them all today. But yeah, no, and you're right, Bunny. I'm pretty sure they do say get now, and I'm not sure what Google does. Pretty sure Windows Store still does the price, or maybe it does get for free. No, I never use the Windows Store, to be fair. I know for a while everyone was using just the price as the button, and I think some still do, but I'd have to check. But yeah, Control Tab. The tricky bit is the tricky bit here to know, and it's one of those you know if you don't or you don't is. Okay, so install for free, then the price if it's paid. So I'd rather see it buy for price in that case to be consistent, but that's I guess too much of an.
What is that, video game?
No, Tony, we're getting hacked.
Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it much. Inthe, super helpful for the follow. Thank you there. Twitch, YouTube, I'm doing them in tandem. As I said, that YouTube channel name is changing from Blindly Coding to Viewpoint Unseen at some point, but I'm gonna have to figure out logos and other such things for that before I can do that officially. But yeah, YouTube's gonna be expanding for the whole bunch of different extra things. So yay, be on the lookout for that. Okay. Yeah.
Convert to colon, copy to
What was I
clipboard.
saying? Oh
push
yeah.
button.
So this is one of the things you haven't even either have to know about or know to try, or you're never going to figure this out. Control Tab in a lot of input fields in Java Swing will unstuck you from the edit field and take you to the other controls in the tab order. I'm not sure if this is a Java app. I would be surprised because I don't think Orca deals with them by default. But apparently this is also the case in whatever thing this uses. Control Tab takes you to the other controls. So we could say, come on.
Don't copy to clipboard, but convert text. Tab.
Oh, see, I got stuck again.
Left,
Control Tab.
convert to colon.
Convert
Combo
to
box.
kebab
Opens
case.
pop-up.
Yeah, that's
Copy
fine.
to clipboard,
Copy
push
to
button.
clipboard. Sure.
Return. A toast appeared. Text copied.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Okay, so toast notifications are available. This app actually does seem to be using a lot of standard things. Orca, yeah, this isn't even an Orca thing, Bunny. You're that's not a bad idea. A lot of people have no idea how to use Orca effectively. I don't either, but this is one of those things that even like seasoned Scream users often aren't going to know to try. Control Tab normally switches tabs, and in this particular case, it gets you out of an edit field that's hijacking your tab to be an indentation key. And every app deals with that differently. Visual Studio Code, for example, has a toggle for it, where you press Control M, and that switches it from like indentation to tab navigation mode. But this lets you use Control Tab, and so does other like swing-based things I've seen on Windows. So I don't think it's consistent enough to mention this, honestly, at this point.
Sit dash has dash no dash case.
I like
Left
Joplin.
control.
Joplin is one thing I do want to get really good at and then do a stream on. Yeah, Orca needs a tutorial the worst way. It really does. It does have the manual, but I think I had some trouble finding it last time
Control,
I was looking
read
for it.
only
Like, it's
text.
there. You can
Left
find
control.
it eventually, but...
Sit IS.
Okay, yeah, so it did
control.
work. Basically, a lot of the thick edit fields don't have a label, but it did work. He did turn it to kebab case, which is the words with dashes in between. But yeah, Orca, like outside of any distribution, Orca definitely has a way to go in a lot of ways. User friendliness and tutorials and documentation are definitely one of them. I honestly have no idea what they're doing currently. I'm guessing they're making it work with Wayland and with a couple of like other things as much as they can. I know that when I tried a couple of years ago to get the latest version of Orca, I couldn't because I also had to get the latest version of GNOME, and the distribution I was using at the time wouldn't let me do that because I think it was like an LTS release, or it may have been Debian. I don't remember, something. And it just became this whole mess where like Orca had some cool things I wanted to try out, and I just couldn't try them out because it was so tightly tied to GNOME. And it became this whole thing. But yeah, I think this is elementary for now. I definitely do like what I'm seeing. Would a person switching to Linux be helped with this distribution? Actually, yeah, I think they would. I think this would be a very friendly introduction to Linux to anyone who would want to try it. Of course, we still found things, but I've been doing this for 20 years. I will find things in the best of things. But yeah, I'd be very curious to see like more of this. I just don't have the time in this stream to go through everything, but if every app that comes with the system is as polished as what I've seen so far, I'd love to like play with this more. Like, this is a very good way to breathe new life into, say, an old laptop or some other bare metal thing you have lying around. So yeah, for people who see this after the fact and are wondering if they want to try Linux, try this. Give this a look. This isn't made for blind people like specifically, but it definitely does have a team behind it that is trying to make things accessible, and you'll at least have an avenue to drop your grievances in a constructive, friendly way. Thanks very much. So they can get fixed. Yeah, that's my official IC null stamp of approval. Keep doing what you're doing, and definitely keep up the good work. Yes, I pressed the left Alt key. Get over it. I'm gonna shut down this VM now. Now we're going to go to the bottom of the barrel, which is also the most important, most popular thing that you see everywhere. Ubuntu. We're going to look at Ubuntu. And again, I have not put any effort into like picking the best desktop environment or picking the best version of Ubuntu. Essentially my process was I went to Google, I typed download name of distribution, so in this case download Ubuntu. I opened the page and I clicked the first you should get this link that I saw, and it was like usually the 64-bit like full install. Like actually Ubuntu wants you to grab the 64 MB little net installer. I had serious doubts if that would have a screen reader installed, so I did not do that. I grabbed the full-on 5 gigs DVD. But that's all I did. I did not look for, the KDE version or the GNOME version. I did not look if Orca was there or not. I'm just assuming as a user that if I grab this, it's going to work for me. And I'm probably going to get myself burned for doing that, but that's the whole point of this. I want to show that off. We've had some really interesting things where people say, it's a challenge. You need to be challenged to get Linux to work for you. And it's like, I would love to see you try that without a screen. Let's see how you do, Mr. GNU Linux. People who know what I'm referring to. Oh boy. All right, Ubuntu. I will install the operating system later. What does that actually do precisely? Like, I've always wondered, because from what I'm understanding, all this does is it just does not pre-fill the CD-ROM drive with an ISO you're picking, but there must be more to it, right? Like, is there like some OSs that it can just easy install Windows style and you don't have to go through the setup procedure? Let's see, we got Ubuntu, Elementary, Fedora, Kali, and Ubuntu in this list. Let's do Ubuntu 2404, because that is the LTS version, apparently. We are going to try Ubuntu. Oh, okay. My thing had a bit of a moment there. Let me turn speech on here for a second, actually, so you can hear what I'm hearing. Balls game. There.
Rate 30.
There you go.
Help button.
Let's continue.
Dialog install from Ubuntu 64-bit 24.04.2 detected. This operating system will use easy install. What's this?
I don't want to do that. Okay, so I guess now we know what the difference is.
Browse, but
I do not want to use easy install because I actually want to see how their installer does.
I will install
So
the
I'll
operating
install the operating system
Help button.
later.
Let's back next greater rest unavailable. Dialog. Guest operating system grouping. Linux radio button checked Alt plus L.
Linux.
Version grouping. Version combo box other Linux 60 Ubuntu 64-bit.
Yeah, Ubuntu 64-bit.
Help button. Let's back next greater.
I'm sure that's helpful for some things.
Dialog. Virtual machine name. Edit Alt plus V selected Ubuntu 6 blank.
Yeah, we're gonna call this Ubuntu test.
Location. Let's back button next. property page. The virtual machine's hard disk is
20 gigs is fine.
split help
I would
less back
hope
button.
that Ubuntu fits on a 20 gig hard drive.
Next
If it
greater
doesn't,
button.
I'd be very worried.
Pressed unavailable dialog. The virtual name.
Okay,
Customize
let's
hard
change
pressed.
the hardware here because this is
Hardware dot-
not ideal the way it's doing it. Actually, yeah, no, let's give it a
Prop-
bit more RAM. It's been given 4 gigs of RAM right now. Let's give it
LAN
8.
selection. List.
Let's give it 8 gigs of RAM.
Memory summary. 8 GB.
CPU.
Processors summary. 2 of 7.
It says 2. I'm gonna
Prop-
revert that to 1.
4 list. Processors. Help button. Property page maximum recommended memory. Processors. News process. Property page total processor cores. 4 processors grouping. List processors. Property page total number of cores per processor.
I'm gonna put the cores to 8.
Selection removed.
Apparently
Number of
that is the
speech
most
mode.
expedient way of doing this. CD-ROM is currently okay. Let's see. What's this? CD, DVD, SATA, auto detect. No, we're gonna give that we're gonna give that an ISO file. Use physical drive. I don't have one. And we'll just browse for the one here. We go to my user folder. Flori Linuxes. And we shall put the Ubuntu thing in there. There we go. Okay. And continue. Is it all we need to do? We have RAM, we have CPU, we have... Yeah, I think we're good. Let's start this up. Close. Finish. Okay, it's setting it all up. Finish. Okay, now we are on the right thing, and I'm going to just press Control B to power this on. Let's see what happens. There it goes. OCRing shows that nothing is happening quite yet. Oh, starting. Press F2 to enter setup. F2 to network boot. Ask for boot menu. Well, that's not read out to us, so I don't technically know that that's happening. Oh, what does that say? It says, use the T and something key to which entry is highlighted. To E to edit commands. Press enter to boot the selected OS before booting, or C for a command line. The highlighted entry will be executed automatically in 15 seconds. No, I think it always does that, Pietermach. Yeah, now I see Ubuntu, so Ubuntu's loading. Ubuntu's still loading. Okay, yeah, it's gone now here too. I thought it showed Ubuntu for a second, but it's not quite yet. Let's give it an enter just for fun. Oh, that did something. Okay. Ding 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 dong. We have something. Yeah, I know. I saw a question on InfoSec the other day, InfoSec Exchange, where someone was asking, is there a way to do BIOS and UEFI management from like a blindness perspective yet? And no, there just isn't. To such a degree that when I have to update my BIOS, I don't have a screen connected to this computer, so it becomes this whole entire thing where I have to MacGyver a situation where I have a screen connected. I tried it with my TV downstairs once because I wanted to see if I could use wireless HDMI to make that work. And actually that part worked fine. The tricky bit was that for some reason my BIOS doesn't initialize USB keyboards that early in the boot chain. So I, at least not ones that aren't directly plugged into the computer. I had to essentially plug my keyboard into the computer over USB, and that worked. But for example, a wireless transmitter for a wireless keyboard did not work, and that meant that I essentially ended up in a situation where I had a phone with a camera pointed at the TV downstairs on the coffee table, and I was yelling downstairs from upstairs where the computer is to the person on my phone and asking them what buttons I was meant to press and if I was doing anything, because I couldn't see it any other way. This is obviously a me problem. I should just have a screen in here anytime, and I can just do it that way. But I don't. I generally don't have a screen connected to this computer because I don't need one, and it saves a bunch of electricity costs. So That was a whole entire situation. And there's no fix for it yet, unfortunately. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, there's just no screen reader that early in the boot chain. I mean, if a keyboard isn't going to come on screen reader, you can just forget it. There's no way. Really, the only way is to somehow like selectively flash a config to like your BIOS, and I think some BIOS manufacturers may have tried that at some point, but I don't think it's in any like local workable state currently. In the meantime, Ubuntu has loaded, I think. Welcome to Ubuntu. Choose your language. I mean, I'm seeing that. I hope you guys are too. As you noticed, nothing was announced about a screen reader. We did hear a boot chime, but there's nothing about a screen reader. So if this is your first introduction to Linux, and you don't know that you're supposed to press Windows Alt-S, which we will be doing in a second, then you don't know that there is a screen reader. Obviously, I think at this point, if you switch to Linux, you would have researched it a tiny bit and you would probably know about that hotkey, but that's an assumption. You may not. So Elementary wins points here for not assuming that the user just knows the hotkey. How is it still black? That is very odd. Just a moment while I try to sort that out. Oh, I see. Because I changed the VM, the title of the window changed, and that threw off OBS. Okay, there you go. It's fixed now. Okay. Let us press Windows Alt-S and see what actually happens if we do.
05 push button.
Okay, that is helpful. Screen reader came on and it said the 05 push button. 05 what? 5 ducks, 5 pancakes. Let's tab. Yeah.
The next push button. Tap next push button.
What the fuck?
Tap next push. Tap next push button. Tap next push button. Tap next push button.
That is so weird.
Left alt.
Is there like another... Hang on. I'm curious why this is happening now. Is it not initializing the graphics properly? Because it is there. I can see it OCR-wise. But, oh...
Speech being background with a toolbar and some fold being recorded. Likely VMware with the image is a screenshot of the op at the bottom of the ops inter. Scenes and sources display highlight the audio mix sliders.
I don't know why that's Okay. We'll do this another way then. We'll just record the entire screen.
Ops.
That is super weird. I don't know
Speech mode on. Speech mode off.
With that. But I figured like just recording VMware would be enough, but clearly it is not for some reason. Let's sort that out. Look away if you don't like the mirror effect that OBS does when I do this. I will, I mean the camera's not working, but I'll do it for prosperity anyway. There you go. And there's Ubuntu. Okay, unless there literally is no screen, at which point you wouldn't see anything now either. But here's Ubuntu. Welcome to Ubuntu. If we are tabbing, I don't think we get any of that text read to us, is it? We get a next button.
Next tap next push button. 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 Tap next push button.
So all that Orca seemingly is able to give us, unless I'm sure you could use screen review, but I'm not going to be expecting users to know how that works for this
Left
demo.
alt.
You cannot see that what it's actually asking you to do is pick a language. Huh. So, for some reason, it's not letting you focus on that list of languages either. You just get the next button. So we just have to pick next and hope for
Return
this.
Ilenska panel.
What? Ilenska panel?
Install Ubuntu. Push button. Push button. Push button. Push button. Push button. Back push button. Next push button. Push button.
Ah, yes.
Push button. Push button. Push button. Push button. Back push button.
So according to Orca, all of these buttons are unlabeled.
Next push button.
This is a next button, even though before it said install Ubuntu. Yeah,
Left alt.
that's exactly why I'm doing them in this order. Yeah, this is shit. Let's see. What it's actually showing us is there's still a date on the screen. It said it was good. Yeah, I've played with the old Ubuntu installer. One thing is really funny. I was about to say that, Bunny. Yeah, this is the accessibility screen we're looking at right now. It says accessibility in Ubuntu. Customize Ubuntu to your needs before you set up. You can change them later in system settings. Seeing, hearing, typing, pointing and clicking, zoom. That's what we're seeing. Like, those are the buttons that we can't read. Nothing of this works. I love that this happens on the accessibility of all places. Like, we also saw it on the language picker just now, but... And this is why people are so angry. Like, if you take 5 minutes to test this screen with Orca, you'll see immediately that it's not working, and we're just shipping it live anyway. It's fine, whatever. And it comes across as very negligent. It comes across as dismissive. Like, this isn't a problem. We can just do this without any work, whatever. And then sometimes what happens is, like, for example, Fireborn, who documents this stuff and then gets a comment that says, you know, you're expecting a polished experience and it needs to be a challenge because that's just what Linux is, and it's not for normal users, it's for like GigaChat super coders. I'm like, I don't think the amount of GigaChat super coder you are matters in this situation. You can't see what you're doing. That is a problem. Like, I am a blind person, and I'll be the first to see that doing really important computer stuff is a lot easier if you know what you're pressing. Like, sure, I can put my computer to like one of the Sami languages of the old Nordic Finnish and Swedish Laplands, and then just randomly press buttons. I'll have no idea what I'm pressing, but that's not a very good way to do computering, because so I have no idea what I'm doing. And yes, that's a way to learn it. It's also a way to burn your computer to the ground. So let's see if we can at least go through the installer and see if we can at least install the system. Maybe it's better once
Left
it's installed.
control.
Who knows?
Push button. Push button. Push button. Back put. Next push button.
So all the accessibility buttons are inaccessible. That's a great look. Let's continue onwards.
Back push. Install Ubuntu. Panel grade.
We have a grade install Ubuntu panel.
Next push button.
A next
Tab
button.
detect push button.
Okay, there's a detect button, which I'm assuming is either for time zone or for keyboard layout.
Tab next push button.
But we cannot get to the actual drop down of whatever it is we're picking, so I guess we are dependent on the detect thing working. Okay.
Tab detect push
Let's see
button.
if it gives us any feedback when we press it.
Return.
Nope. That's about what I expected. Let's
Tab.
continue.
Tab.
Let's continue.
Tab.
Let's
Tab.
Uh-oh.
Tab. Tab.
I saw a post today on the R-Blind subreddit of a very sort of, I guess, empathic person that wants to learn. Like, they were asking if their teenage, I think, kid or nephew or something should learn how to play the guitar because they're blind. And can you play guitar as a blind person? And there was a lot of people were, I guess, sort of just not really getting the question, because they were like, yeah, just do this, do that. You need to learn the chords, you need to do this. And they were like, okay, but how? I helped them out and basically said, listen, like, you don't need to see to find the frets. You don't need to see to hear if what you're playing is matching what you're hearing. Like, I understand that sight is a very important sense, but you have others, and then they do work and they do things. But yeah, it's that complete lack of knowledge. Like, graphicals can't work for people who can't graphic. Video games don't work for people who don't video. Like, it's it's not an under it's not a like a it's an understandable reaction up to a point if you've just been living under a rock and you've never met a person that is blind or haven't been aware of the the advances that have been made, screen readers, braille displays. That is a conclusion to draw. Needs screen, can't see screen, can't do what screen needs. I see that in like older generations still, even like taxi drivers I'm with that are really impressed that I'm able to use a smartphone, for example. It's that lack of knowledge, and a lot of people outright don't want to learn or don't feel they should learn, or like just that they don't enter and they don't encounter the things that they can learn from. And yeah, it's a thing to get mad about because it's not necessarily always this person's fault. Like they do the best they can too. I'm sure they're a very happy person and a very like friendly person to people who know him. But it is very frustrating to be constantly underestimated like that. And with that, we're going to perform with Peter Mach's suggestion. Enter and hope for the best.
Return. Tab.
Enter did nothing. Actually, look
alt.
what the screen is even doing. Wait, what? Hang on. There we go. What it's saying is please press 1. Oh, it wants me to press a key, but I'm not sure what key it wants. I think shift slash. Oh.
Tab. Left alt.
Was that what you wanted? Let's see. Yeah, please press 1. I always forget what they want here. Yeah, I think it wants me to press like backslash or slash or Z or some other
Left,
thing.
right,
Can we
shift,
just escape out of this? I wonder.
Escape. Escape.
Hey, Justin.
Tab. Next push. Back push
Okay,
button.
I got free.
Tab.
We did it.
Detect push button.
Justin, we're doing we're looking at the installers and first-time experiences of various Linux distributions. Elementary OS is quite good. And we have Bunny, who is one of the main UX people from that distribution here, who has been making a bunch of notes to make it better. Now we're looking at Ubuntu, and it's a shit show so far. So that's fun. Ubuntu is trash so far. Let's continue on past this detection.
Return.
Thing. So yeah, detect, essentially I think the way it works on the Mac at least is I think you press the button to the right of the left shift, and based on the key code it figures out if it's a backslash or a Z or a couple of other things. Okay, what are we doing? Hello.
Use wired connection checkbox checked. Do not connect to the internet checkbox not checked.
I guess that's fine.
Tab back push button. Next push button. Back next push button. Return. Tab install Ubuntu. Update now push button.
Sure.
Return.
Update all the things. Maybe that'll redeem some of the trash I'm seeing right now. Okay, we got no feedback. Oh yeah. Yeah, we saw that in elementary too. Very odd.
Left alt.
Because I don't think you can have it use the wired internet and also not go to the internet at the same time. But yeah, I think that's an Orca thing. Honestly, I'm not sure. So it says update available, update ready. Please close the installer and relaunch to continue. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Close installer. We're going to close the installer and see how much of a trash fire the rest of this is. Here goes. No, it does not. That is eSpeak British, actually. eSpeak usually comes on in British mode, in the default eSpeak distribution. Don't ask me why. That's just how they did it. Let's see. Install Ubuntu 2024. Yeah, whatever. Okay, can we just press that now? Is it done with the update, or do we have to?
Tab.
Okay, so there's literally no feedback here for the button that we have here. It says install Ubuntu.
Return. Tab. Tab.
Uh-oh. Can we not click that?
Return. Left alt.
So you gonna do it with the mouse?
Left bracket. Tab.
No.
Tab.
Can
Space.
I truly not get to that button
Escape.
just with the tab and shift tab?
Tab. Left.
Is this where we crash with Ubuntu?
Return.
Again, I know that you can use flat review. I'm not going to, because
Tab.
I'm sticking within what a casual user would be doing. I remember back in 10.04, 12.04 it was okay, but that's like 20 years ago now. I don't think we can get this
Left
button
alt.
to accept voice. We could probably make it work if I had a mouse connected, but I don't.
Tab. Left. Space. Return. Tab. Space. 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 Space.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do. If it'll even let me.
Left alt.
Oh, huh. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Kali went way, way backwards as well. Like, it used to work fine, and then they switched a bunch of things around, and now it does. It's a garbage in a VM. At least when I tried it last year. Kind of hope it's better. Well, let's do that one next. Actually, that'd be interesting to see, because that is something that you would use another way of finding the installer for. Because this doesn't I don't think it even works with Windows Alt S either. You have to use S on the boot screen to make it work. I did not. Let's try that actually. Drop the beat joke. Yeah. Oh, what is happening? Oh, one of my keys is stuck. Hang on. There. May I now? Yeah, some kind of caps lock is stuck. There we go. Can I now do this? Yeah, okay, now we're good. Okay, excellent. Enter.
Return. Tab. Return. 3 3 3 3 3 3 3 1 3 1 1 3 1 3 1 1 3 1 3 1 1 3 1 3 1 1 3.
It's a bit too laggy to make it work properly, but yeah.
F J J F J J F J J F J F J J. F J F J F J F J.
It's super laggy. I can't get a good beat. Wait, if I take my headphones off, I think I can make it work. There you go. Well, we're gonna have to reboot this.
Left alt.
Finger drumming on the Ubuntu install screen, because of course, why not? FJJ, FJJ, FJ, FJ. Yeah, very fun. I need to set up a music machine again. Like I have Ableton on this computer, I have Reaper on this computer, but I think I should probably do it on a MacBook, honestly, at this point. Even if it's just to screw around with core audio on a stream. Check out, what is that thing called? The thing about DJ Sharky about WCAG. What is that? It's a very old thing, but I forget who makes that. It has like eloquence rapping in it, all quantized. It's very silly. Are we done yet? 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 It's taking forever. I have more to do. Hello? 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 What time is it anyway? Oh shit, it's already almost 11. I don't think we're going to be able to get through all of these. I think Fedora and Debian and a couple of other ones will have to happen next week. Don't want to be here until like 1 in the morning if I can help it. Let's see. That's amazing. There was the whole deck talk craze for a while, where people used like that particular thing to. You're smacking people up on Fortnite. That's a game I've never. It's a game I've been meaning to stream at some point, because now with my CPU not being borked, I should be able to actually run that weird auto aim assistant thing that that person is making. Let's get the screen reader going.
Screen 05 push button.
Yeah,
Next
yeah,
push button.
05 push button to you too. I don't actually know what that is. I think I've seen that in Kali too. Like something is making
Return
it do
panel
that.
raid.
Not sure why that's
Install
05
Ubuntu.
or
Push
whatever.
button. Push button. Push button. Tap push
Yeah,
button.
you have the inaccessible accessibility option screen.
Tap next push button. Next push button.
Like serious good work there.
Return. Install Ubuntu. Panel raid. Tab next push button. Tab next push button. Return. Tab install Ubuntu. Use wired connection checkbox checked.
It's not. There's no accessibility whatsoever built into the game. There is a person who made some
Next
kind
push
of
button. Return.
third-party thing that helps you with things, but I'm pretty sure you'll still get destroyed by anyone who can see the screen.
Tab install Ubuntu. Update now push back push button. Skip push button.
Skip the update.
Return.
Let's see if we can get further.
Install Ubuntu.
Yeah,
Install Ubuntu alongside or instead of your current operating system. This shouldn't take too long. Checkbox checked.
This shouldn't take too long. Again, yeah, checkboxes instead of radio button checkbox. Of a radio button checked. Uh-oh.
Tab. Try Ubuntu. You can try Ubuntu.
Okay.
Install Ubuntu alongside or instead of your current operating system. This shouldn't take
That's a,
tab.
okay.
Try Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Tab.
So these radio buttons also introduce extra tab stops, which they should not be doing.
Back push button. Next push button.
The whole thing of radio buttons is that you don't have that happen, so that's actually bad. They should fix that. Let's
Return.
continue.
Install Ubuntu. Interactive installation for users who want to be guided step by step through the installation checkbox checked.
Or
Left next push button. Tab.
yes.
Automated installation for advanced users who have an auto-install.yaml for consistent and repeatable system setups checkbox not checked.
Isn't Shotgun Spoon the person who made the mod?
Tab.
No, he's not. They're not.
Tab. Back push button.
I just always sort of appreciate, like, sort of put them together for some reason, but I don't know why.
Next push button. Interactive installation for users who want to be
I guess
guided
we
to
want
space.
this. Yeah, Green Bean. Is it still being worked on? I lost
Next
track
push
of it.
button. Return.
I know that Factorio's been stuck for a while. I think they finally got a bunch of money to
Tab.
get
Install
unstuck,
Ubuntu.
but yeah.
Default selection
what
just
the
the essentials. Web browser
Lethal
and
Company
basic
and the
utilities
Fortnite
check
guys
left.
doing.
Next push. Default selection just the essentials. Web browser and basic utilities checkbox checked. Extended selection and offline friendly selection of office tools, utilities and web browser checkbox not checked.
Oh. I think that's usually how it comes down, isn't it? Like it's
Tab back push button. Next push button.
what you see a lot for these kinds of mods is that the mod gets created because a particular blind person yeah. Wait, what's F? What's Fally? Oh, that's the Fortnite one, right? But yeah, I think usually the way it was, that's also how it worked with World of Warcraft. There's a blind person that hits up a programmer buddy that says, hey, I want to play this game, can you help? And then they do. I think that's what happened with World of Warcraft. That's what happened with Fortnite accessibility. Pretty sure Guide Dev had a blind friend, her Hearthstone guy.
Default next push
I mean, if you
button.
call yourself Guide Dev, it
Return.
makes me wonder, like, Why are why so blind centric? Like, is that a?
Tab. Install Ubuntu.
Have you used that
Install
name before
third-party
for
software
something?
for
Sounds like
graphics
maybe like a
and Wi-Fi
Parsec
hardware,
maker or
including
something.
but not limited to NVIDIA drivers. Download and install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware, including but not limited to NVIDIA drivers and similar checkbox not checked.
Sure, let's turn that
Space.
on because
Checked.
this is
Download and
VM.
install support for additional media formats, including but
We
not
don't need
back
that.
push button. To next push
Let's
button. Return
go.
back push button.
Okay.
Install Ubuntu. Erase disk and install Ubuntu. Start from scratch on your selected disk. Non-selected advanced features. Push button.
What?
Tab. Tab.
What?
Left. Tab.
Are we stuck,
Tab.
guys? Are we stuck, chat?
Manual installation for advanced U tab. Tab. Back push button. Next push button. Erase disk and install return. Tab. 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 Manual installation for tab.
Chat, I...
Back push button. Next push
there
button.
we go. Okay, so I'm assuming those were two mutually exclusive options, and then there is a non-selected, and then there is a advanced options button that was in the same tab stop. I don't even know what's happening anymore, guys.
Install Ubuntu. Your name text.
Your name is done
space.
with Ubuntu. I'm from some Slavic country.
Tab. Your computer's name text.
My computer's
done with
name.
Ubuntu VMware Virtual Platform selected. Backspace.
Is broken. Chief.
Tab. Your username text. Done with Ubuntu backspace. Text until back.
I am very easily amused. Done.
Ubuntu. Tab. Password text.
Let's see. Does this one? Okay, this one says nothing when you type. I think I prefer that over just echoing the characters, but
show push button.
No.
Tab. Confirm password text.
Also, that's technically a checkbox, but sure.
Require my password to log in checkbox checked.
I mean, why else are we setting the password if we're not requiring it to log in? That's very odd.
Tab. Use Active Directory checkbox not checked.
This isn't Windows, no.
Tab. Back push button. Tab. Your name text. Done with Ubuntu selected.
Why is it not letting
Tab. Your
me
computer's
continue?
name text. Is broken Steve selected.
For sudo, yeah,
Tab.
I guess.
Your username text. Done with Ubuntu selected. Tab. Password text 11 characters selected. Show push button. Tab. Confirm password text 11 characters selected.
Yeah.
Required use Active Directory check. Tab. Back push button. Tab. Your name text return.
Okay, so there's no error notification
Left alt.
whatsoever. Apparently it's doing something. We're doing something it doesn't like, but it doesn't tell us what we did. I'm going to assume the password isn't strong enough. Yeah, I'm looking now. Your computer's name is broken CF. The username is invalid. Why can't I have BO? Because there's a capital letter in there? So no, there's actually an error. It says the username is invalid, but Orca doesn't think it needs to tell me that. So that's helpful. Don with Ubuntu is dying a horrible death. Kurva. Of course. Of course it does. Before he even started, he was so young. He was
Computer's
so
name
young.
text. Is broken Steve selected. Tab. Your username text. Done with Ubuntu
I guess it doesn't like
backspace.
capital letters. So I'll just
Backspace.
do. What shall we do? Ubuntu. Let's do Ubuntu, like all the try-hack-me machines. Can I continue now, please?
Tab. Show tab. Confirm password
Yes. No,
text.
wait, that's
Require use active
like my passwords.
confirm password text 11 characters. Reuse active direct tab. Back push button. Next push button.
Yay! We can continue. Victory.
Return. Back push button.
But yeah, obviously that's bad. If you have a problem in your form, accessibility basics dictate that you just should probably tell the user about that and maybe tell them which form field is broken, not just say nothing like a stupid.
Tab. Install Ubuntu. Location
Stupid
text.
is not a cool word to use,
Amsterdam
actually.
left
I shouldn't be
control.
doing that. Let's
Tab.
see.
Time zone text.
Mullet Van
Europe
just
slash
redeemed
Amsterdam dot.
Tangia. Ask AI GLaDOS a question, TTS. Saying, are you
Winte.
accessible to a blind person?
N.
I don't know if I have the tango.
Molitvan asked me, "Are you accessible to a blind person?"
I can
In
hear that.
theory, yes. I have no need for visual components. My wit is sharp enough to transcend mere sight. But the real question is whether you'd want to hear my voice, constant and unyielding, dissecting every aspect of your being. But, sure, I'm accessible.
I could hear that. I hope you guys could too. Yeah, GLaDOS has beaten Ubuntu. Are we GLaDOS about that?
Tab.
I broke
Escape.
it. I tried to type
Install
Tangia on my
Ubuntu
Ubuntu
push
and it
button.
broke it.
Tab.
Oh my god. I think there's the magical
Left shift.
install button that will save me from
Return
this.
install Ubuntu frame.
Hey,
Panel.
it's installing.
Back push button. Next push button. Location text. Amsterdam time zone text. Back push. Next push. Back push 05
I'm
push
in
button.
Amsterdam, whatever.
Back push button. Tab. Install push button.
Yes, please, God.
Back push button. Tab. Tab. Tab.
Okay, well, we get no progress
Left alt.
whatsoever. Currently it says fast, free, and full of new features. The latest version makes computing easier than ever. Whether you're a developer, creator, gardener, or administrator. Oh, I think it says gamer administrator. You'll find new tools to improve your productivity and enhance your experience in this release. Copying files. So yeah, it's doing shit. It's just not telling us about it. Catching fire, please wait. Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, I'm going to be pausing after Ubuntu, and I'm thinking I'm going to pick this up next Saturday with Fedora, Kali, and Debian. I believe Debian's a lot better. Fedora, I have heard good stories about. I know they had a bit of a glitch with the mate skin the other time, but I believe that's been fixed as well, or at least fixed as much as they can fix it. And Kali, I have no idea where Kali is at currently. We'll have to figure that out as we go. But yeah, Ubuntu, I think we can safely say that we started with the best out of the bunch and we ended with the worst out of the bunch, where this is concerned. And that's concerning because Ubuntu is essentially what a lot of people are being told to just get Ubuntu. It's stupid, user-friendly, go get it. And I think even they themselves think that's true because they have that accessibility screen with all the things in the, admittedly, second screen instead of the first, which, okay. But all the accessibility buttons are unlabeled. Like, what message does that send? Like, do you not see how incredibly incompetent that looks? Again, I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm kind of a little bit because this is something you could have prevented relatively easily. Test it. Oh, okay, it's a web-based thing. Yeah, I honestly, a lot of people don't like that a lot of apps are web apps now. I honestly kind of do. Like, there's a lot more things you can do with various types of applications when they're on the web. There's also a number of things that are harder to do. Multi-select dropouts, for example, and a couple of other things. But yeah, I do like that. Once you are in a web space, you can go to headings, you can go to the next list, you can go to buttons, you can click things that we normally need to use the NVDA cursor for. So in that sense, yes, they're bloated and a lot of the times they eat a lot of resources, but they are generally a little bit more accessible. A lot of these applications for mixers and things, I would honestly prefer to be web-based because that it's very much more likely that I can at least see some of the controls, at least. If they're these weird cross-platform UI toolkits written in Rust or Go or whatever the hell, a lot of the times you literally have no semantic meanings. You have literally nothing, not even like proper tabbing support. So I'll take any old Electron app over that any day. Yeah, the whole focus versus browse mode and that happening automatically was a good idea in theory because that means that users never really have to worry about it, and it makes sure that when you need to be in forms mode, you're in forms mode, and when you don't, you don't. But if you then start tabbing from a browse mode context, it gets really strange because you're essentially jumping back and forth for no reason. And it gets really tricky with like complicated UIs where some things might work better in browse mode and some things might not. In the meantime, Ubuntu is just hanging out doing its thing. The official Ubuntu documentation is available both online and via the help icon in the document. Oh, in the doc. Is it still copying files? What is it doing? I have no idea what it's doing actually. Oh, setting up the system. Sorry about that. Ubuntu's install takes way longer than elementary, clearly. But yeah. I will be like I can just look for a rating target while this sits. Like, I don't think we're gonna do much with the actual system. Does anyone have anyone that they want me to raid? Actually can't because I show you guys all my stuff. But I can talk about what's coming up in the near future. In the near future, we're going to be seeing games on Zersiak still. I might multi-stream those to YouTube actually if I do change that channel name to Viewpoint. What was it? Viewpoint Unseen. That also lends itself to multi-streaming from Twitch to YouTube. So that'll probably be a thing that I start doing through Restream. And then I want to cover a number of things on like in actual short or long form videos. One thing is tech reviews, Senpai Gaming style, but for the blind. One thing is reaction content to things that feel targeted towards the blind. Think Laurel K. Buzz content. Think maybe the occasional Steve Saylor video that I'll rage at. Think maybe just reading dumb Reddit posts that I think need some explanation. Dr. Mike style, basically. And then what I also want to do is tutorials about certain things, like how do you actually use NVDA's OCR? How do you actually use OCR's like object navigation and screen readers and things? The thing with that is I think there is a silo of blind for the blind content that I kind of want to break out of a tiny bit. And I want to do that by having them be videos rather than like random MP3 files on some random WordPress host. I want to make these helpful for the blind, but I also want to make sure that by making these pieces of content, people who are not blind but are curious about how a blind person might do XYZ, they can learn from essentially that same content from a different point of view. Stuff like that, like screen reader basics, but also just like how do you get the most out of your screen reader in a situation where your application is inaccessible? How do you deal with, I don't know, pieces of tech that have inaccessible control panels? Like, what is a strategy for getting that to work properly? Do you need sighted help? When do you bring in sighted help? Stuff of that nature. I think there's a lot I can talk about in that space where like people aren't, because it's politically not quite as tasty, or people don't want to like show off that blind people need help sometimes. I don't know. There's I think a distinct lack of content around certain topics that I think I could talk about a lot, and I kind of want to cover those bases as well. So how exactly I'm going to do that yet, I don't quite know yet. But I do have a lot of plans in that space as well. But yes, object navigation, OCR is definitely something we need a lot more people to understand. Installation complete. Ubuntu 24.4.2 LTS is installed and ready to use. Restart your computer to installation. Fuck. Okay, it's working. Let's go. Continue testing, restart. Oh shit, can I actually use Orca in this screen? Oh yeah, notice that Orca said nothing about the whole screen changing. Yeah, I've noticed that. Ubuntu do you mean in like how often it's... Orca is there, it's just shutting up. Like, the screen has changed almost entirely, like 5 times.
Continue testing push
if
button.
I wasn't reading it out loud, you guys wouldn't have known. It's very silly.
Restart now push
Restart
button.
now.
Return.
Let's go. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. But yeah, I think the system, once it's running, should work okay-ish at least. Honestly, I don't know how to use GNOME, like recent versions of GNOME anymore, but yeah. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've heard a thing or two about Windows, Ubuntu snaps. Yeah, it's it's that weird one where like if you don't know any of that as a a green user that's never used Linux before, you're gonna like run like what should I use? I think the response will still be Ubuntu, Mint, maybe Debian, but I doubt it. Probably Ubuntu, Mint, and maybe Fedora. I'm sure there's like like Linux distros that are very, very, very much Ubuntu just with a Windows skin on it. Isn't that what Mint does actually? When I think about it. What is the thing doing? Let me see. Nothing. It's just a black screen. Okay. It'll eventually. Oh, there it goes. There's Ubuntu. It's showing up. I can see the name. Oh, there's the lock screen. Of course, we done with Ubuntu. Okay, so we have no screen reader anymore. Same problem as Elementary, but I guess even more egregious because it's the login screen isn't talking either now. So we have to. Oh yes, some screen reader on.
305 push button grade.
Okay, so it does
listed.
not have
Left
the
control.
Kali issue of once you've installed it, it starts buffering and stuttering like mad in Ubuntu.
Done
Or
with
in
Ubuntu
VMware
push button.
rather. Done with Ubuntu.
Return password text.
Now it's also in American because we set the language to be US English, so that is clever. I like that Orca does that. Actually, it's good for if you have a different language for whatever reason. What password did I pick for this thing? That apparently. Okay, good.
Screen reader on. The initial setup.
Okay.
Less href equals quote http://www.ubuntu.com/get ubuntu /release notes os equals ubuntu and emp semiver equals 24.04 quote grader view release notes /a grader label.
Thank you. That was an HTML tag for the release notes. Having what as a button works really well. Peter Mach.
Equals quote http://www.line next push button.
Line next. Oh, done with Ubuntu. It's like WIV UBUN2 as well. It's very Slavic looking. I should have made it like with spaces and W's instead of V's to make it all Polish looking. But next time.
http://www.ubuntu.com/get/ubuntu/release notes os equals ubuntu and emp semiver equals 24.04 quote grader view release notes /a grader
Dan
label.
witam puntu.
Line next push button.
So we have a line next, and we have
Less
whatever the
href
fuck
equals
this is. I
quote
think it's a release notes link, so it's just
http://line next push button. Less scroll pane.
a scroll pane.
Line previous push button. Line skip push button. Enable Ubuntu Pro now, or skip this step. List with 2 items. Line enable Ubuntu Pro. Not selected.
I mean, I don't know what it does. So
Line skip for now. Not
I guess
selected.
we're
You
skipping.
can always enable Ubuntu Pro later via the software and updates application.
Ubuntu Pro sounds like an upsell. Is it an upsell? Is it like a subscription that gives me AI and it's gonna wash my socks for me and a couple of other things? Is that what it is?
Line previous push button. Line skip push button. Enable Ubuntu Pro
Actually,
now,
I'm
or
curious
skip
enough
this
to
step.
OCR
List
this.
with
What
2
is this?
items.
Ubuntu Pro.
Line enable Ubuntu Pro. Not selected.
Upgrade this machine to Ubuntu Pro, free for up to 5 machines. Get security updates in a wide range of packages until 2034. Fulfill FedRAMP, FIPS, STIC, and HIPAA, HIPAA, and other compliance and hardening requirements with certified tooling and crypto modules. No crypto! Learn more at ubuntu.com/pro. And I'm assuming I need to make an account for that. And
Line enable
my credit
Ubuntu
card
Pro.
information.
Line skip
Let's
for
not
now.
do
Line
that.
pre-enable Ubuntu Pro now. Line skip for now. Line skip push button. Line next push button.
So I have a skip button as well as a skip for now checkbox on the radio button. That's
List with 2
clear.
items. Yes. Share system data with Ubuntu team.
No,
Not
I
selected.
don't think I want you to have my
Yes.
system
Share
data.
system data with Ubuntu team. Checkbox checked.
What?
No, don't share system data. Not selected. No, don't share system
Okay,
data.
so
Checkbox
in this
checked.
screen, what's going wrong is the labels. The static labels for these radios are tap stopped, so you have 2 tap stops for each option. Only the second one actually works. Arrow keys also touch these. That should not be happening, obviously. Oh, come on. You'll be okay.
Report
You'll
list show
be
the
okay.
first report push button.
Huh?
List with 2 items. No, don't share assist. Show the legal notice push button. Show the legal notice push button. Line previous push button. Line next push button. List. Line previous push button. Line open app center push button. Line previous push button.
So what we can conclude from this initial setup is that it's very similar to the elementary one, except the elementary did everything like 20 times better. So in that sense,
line finish push button.
I hope that's the encouragement I'm meaning it to be.
Desktop icons
well,
frame.
we're on the desktop.
Tab.
We got there. We did
Home.
it. Yep. I
Tab.
can see that. Okay, we're on does Alt F1 still bring up the menu?
F1.
No, I don't know how to use modern GNOME. Windows? Uh-oh. I broke it.
Alt.
What?
Left top bar activities toggle button not pressed. Desktop icons frame.
Okay, that's
Home.
it, super.
Left control.
Super does absolutely nothing. Super puts you in an inaccessible screen. That's
Tab.
oh wait.
Left.
Let's try again. Yeah, no. Super is super broken. You're not wrong. I can see it. It's working. I can see the type to search prompt. It's just not saying anything. Let me type something random. Editor.
Network configuration push button. Editorial cornice push advanced
Oh no,
network
wait. Typing,
configuration
and
push
then
button.
you can arrow your way through it.
Editor. Character text editor push button.
Text editor. There you go.
Return
Oop.
desk text. Opens pop-up. New document left paren draft right paren dash text editor frame.
I misget it. Hello, my
draft
name
text
is
editor.
Igor.
ELLO space MY space NAME space IS space IGOR comma space IGORAWAYOV.
Wait, does Orca not... What?
Hello text. Hello, my name is Igor. Igor Awayov. Opens pop-up. Hello, my name is Igor left text. Hello, my name is Igor. Igor Awayov. Opens pop-up.
Okay, I'm going through this character by character, and Orca is not reading the characters. What the hell is that? Text editor, we can't see what you're editing. That's it. Okay, I think we're leaving it on that high note. Like it'll read it if you land onto the edit field. It'll happily read the entire contents. But then when you start using the arrow keys, nothing. Like this took effort. You're not wrong, Molitvan. This took effort. My cat wants in. What's up, buddy? Want to be on stream? Yeah. Shiro, what do you think of this Ubuntu bullshit? Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. What do you think of it? Yeah, no, I don't think I like it very much either. I'm gonna let you down now. He does not want to be on stream. There you go. shame the camera's not working. That would have been funny. But yeah, I think we've seen enough here. Like Ubuntu is clearly, they need a bit of work. They have a little work to do. So if you land on Ubuntu as your very first thing, you're fucked. It's that simple. You'll get mad. You'll give up on Linux for another decade. Yeah, you'll not be happy. You'll be very unhappy, in fact. And that's kind of what people feel when they think of Linux these days. It's like, this is the experience they're expecting. So like, rather than thinking Ubuntu really did really badly, I'd say that this is really more of an endorsement for Elementary for doing so good. And I'm sure when we do Fedora next week and Debian, we'll see somewhere in the middle. But this right here is, I'm not surprised. I'm actually was expecting this. And I think that's the most depressing part of this. This is essentially par for the course for a lot of people who figure this is how it works. And this is the mountain we're climbing. This is what we're trying to get better at. So it's one of the reasons why these streams exist, to show off where the problems are and how to work around them. Yeah. I might do Arch at some point, but that's going to be a different series. That's 06 blows his brains out with Arch situation. I see no one that's currently live that I want to go to. How are we doing on viewers? Is it worth looking for a raid target? Yeah, like once it's all working, it's fine. Like ours is perfect once you have it all the way you wanted. Actually, I don't think I've had this many viewers in a while. Let's find a rating person, actually. Do we have anyone that is doing something adjacent? Anyone? I'm looking at InfoSec streams now, but if there's anything else, I don't see most of the people I used to follow for this kind of stuff anymore right now. So
Speech mode talk.
Here, what I can find.
NVDA headphones.
I want to send all you lovely people to some other people to make them happy. Come on, throw me a bone here. Paneko panko. Fantastic. That is what I'd like to see. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. Wait, what do you want about now, Fedora? Oh, Arch. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Is there still the talking Arch like project, or is it just built into the main thing now? Because that's what Kali does as well. You have to hit down arrow a couple times, and I think you press S, or you do one of the two to get the speech assisted install, which is basically just a console window where you type a couple of numbers. Okay, good. Yeah, that was always weird. I don't know why they just didn't do that. Yeah, oh wait, is Fixit live? No, they're not. They're not live. I don't see anyone doing anything. This is so depressing. I have so many people I'd love to send to someone. Let's just find a gamer then, I guess. Oh, is the anime person we rated the other time after the stream, right? Is what are they doing? We live all dang day, baby. No, this is not the right vibe. I need the right vibe.
05 push button grade.
I need the right vibe. Let's see, what are you doing? Overwatch. You know what? That's about no, that's Watch Dogs. Close enough. Hacker, Watchdog, Overwatch. I'm calling it good. I'm sending you a lot to Overwatch. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. How many? I think they went offline. God dang it. Okay, I guess we're ending it here. I can't find someone to raid. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. I will be back on probably Wednesday on the Xerxes channel. I'll see if I can get the YouTube restream to work by then. See if we can get some YouTube people in. Friday we'll be doing other games. I'm not sure what yet. Saturday we'll be back doing this. Fedora, Kali, and Debian. Fuck, well, maybe we'll put Arch in there too if we have time. But yeah, that's going to be the second Linux thing. And then after Linux, we're going to go back to open source things. Yeah, I intend to. Like, the whole thing with Streamclips is that I need to figure out a pipeline to make the vertical clips work okay, because particularly things like TikTok are vertical streams because they're generally consumed on phones, and my streams are currently horizontal. There is a webcam I'm considering that essentially just flips it vertical when you flip the orientation, which would be really helpful for that kind of thing, but I'll have to see. I do want to like amp up my streaming a little bit in the coming time, like see if I can like make it look all fancy, like maybe look at own.pro to get some more widgets that look cool. I don't know. We'll have to see how things progress. Yeah. Anyway, this has been great. I'll see you all in the next one, which will be on Wednesday for gaming and next Saturday for non-gaming. Everyone have a fantastic day. Everyone have a fantastic night. Go eat. Go drink water if you haven't for a long time. Please be careful in the heat out there, and I very much appreciate all of you existing. Keep doing that. That's really helpful. Yeah, see you around, and have a good day.